these 4 slides are related specifically to this question around superannuation. So let me run through those 4 slides and it will give you the answer to what happens if you pay your employee super late. Hi guys, it's Michelle Knight from Miss Bookkeeping, and in this video I wanted to run through what happens if I pay my super late. So this video is for small business owners in Australia who might be struggling to pay their employee superannuation on time, and I wanted to run through in a very quick short video the implications if you pay super late, even if it is by 1 day. So as an Australian small business owner, if you're unsure of your super obligations, need a little bit more information, the ATO website is the best place to go. So I'll insert a little screen recording of what that looks like. I'll also insert an overview screenshot of what it has written on the ATO website. So if you don't pay your employee superannuation on time, there's some things you have to do, and I'm actually going to run through those steps. Now, I'm going to read a section on the ATO website, and it says, your employee super contribution is only considered paid on the date it's received by the fund. And I'm going to come back to that because that bit's very important as to the timing of your employee super contributions. I'll also make a second note that's written on the ATO website that processing times vary between clearinghouses, and you're probably thinking, Michelle, what the hell is a clearinghouse? Take note of that. I'll come back to that in a second. Instead of reinventing the wheel, I thought I might share 4 slides I have in my online course called Financial Self Academy, and these 4 slides are related specifically to this question around superannuation. So let me run through those 4 slides and it will give you the answer to what happens if you pay your employee super late. So one of the most commonly asked questions is, when is my super due? And I'll insert a little screenshot of a slide from my online course outlining the 4 superannuation due dates. So it's always 28 days after quarter end. So as you can see, it'll be quarter end 30th September, due by the 20th of October. December end, it'll be due 28th of January, March end 20th of April, June end 28th of July. Keep those dates in mind, very important. Now, the next most common question I get asked is, what is a superannuation clearinghouse, or rather, how does a superannuation clearinghouse work? So as a small business owner, you've got to pay your employee superannuation. Now, you don't just pay them, you've got to pay their super fund, but there's a step in between where you have to pay a clearinghouse, and that clearinghouse distributes the correct funds to the right employees to their respective superannuation funds. If you're using something like Xero, it has its own inbuilt clearinghouse. You can nominate a separate clearinghouse, and the ATO also has a free clearinghouse you can use. I will insert a little flow chart showing the flow from you, the business owner, paying those funds to a clearinghouse, and that clearinghouse distributing the funds to your respective employee super funds. So just a little, I don't know, middleman. That's just how we have to do it. And I won't go through the details and intricacies of the reasons and exactly how that all works. But as a business owner, it's very important to know. So the next common question would be, what happens when I pay my super late? Well, a few things will happen, and I've just put 3 little dot points, kind of like the reality of even if you've paid super 1 day late, there's some steps to do. And firstly, you'll have probably a very annoyed bookkeeper if someone is helping you reconcile, lodge your super payments, that type of thing. We'll need to prepare something called a superannuation guarantee charged form. And it just creates additional work for your bookkeeper, or maybe your accountant might do this form. But the moment you pay your super late, we have to prepare this form. So it's like unnecessary work, and we just try to avoid that. 2, your accountant's going to be a little bit annoyed because they like to help get all the tax deductions they can for you to produce a really good result when it comes to doing your year-end tax returns. Super paid late is not tax deductible. I'll repeat that again. Superannuation paid late is not tax deductible. So if your accountant is doing your year-end review, tax returns, financials, and realizes, oh no, they've paid their super late, they can't claim the tax deduction. They will be annoyed, probably. And number 3, you're going to be annoyed because you're going to have to pay more tax because you're not eligible for that superannuation tax deduction. And you're also going to be annoyed because your bookkeeper or accountant's going to have to prepare the SGC form for lodgement, and you're going to have to pay some more accounting or bookkeeping fees. So that's the reality of paying super late. So moving on to what are the steps when you pay your super late. Now I'm going to insert again another slide from my online course, just going through very quickly what happens and what you have to do. This is not a video where it's going to go into granular detail of like the calculations, just very sort of base level. And if you've got any questions around this, go speak to your accountant or your bookkeeper. So the trigger is you don't pay superannuation on time, which means a SGC form will have to be prepared for lodgement. And what is that made up of? It's made up of your outstanding super payable, so the shortfall. I mean, you could have part paid employee super and, not the whole amount or whatever, but it's going to be whatever's you should have paid by the due date isn't. The ATO charges, currently the cost is $20, an admin fee, $20 per employee per quarter. So if you're late constantly or you have a lot of employees, that's going to hurt, right? That's going to hurt that's going to hurt. And lastly, they are going to apply interest charge, currently about 10%. That gets calculated. So the total payable that you'll need to make won't be just the outstanding employee super amount. It's going to be plus admin fees plus nominal interest charges. Now, the ATO want you to be good business owners. They want you to pay your super on time so that money is utilized, invested in your employees' super funds, so it generates income for future employees' retirement. If dodgy business owners constantly don't pay their super, there's that opportunity cost. And to, I suppose, ensure that business owners do the right thing, they're going to apply these sort of ramifications where superannuation isn't paid on time. So I'll also insert a little screen recording of the Excel format, the electronic version of the form. There used to be, I don't know if it still exists, there used to be a manual form you could fill out, but essentially your bookkeeper will fill out a form looking something like this, lodge it with the ATO, and then provide you details with how you're going to pay that superannuation. So essentially you'll pay the ATO and then the ATO will then reimburse that monies to the respective super funds. Now, before I let you go, I'm also going to set my last slide from my online course about just some business owner tips and reminders. So yeah, paid on time by the 28th of the end of quarter, or it's not going to be tax deductible, and we all love a tax deduction as business owners, right? Clearinghouses. So remember I mentioned clearinghouses may differ, time frames may differ. You need to check the timing period of a clearinghouse. So the ATO usually has a generic email going out to 0 users where, can you please process all super payments, say by the 21st? So then it flows through the clearinghouse and to the ATO's funds by the due date of the 28th. So it's usually about a week before is the cutoff, they say. So we ensure that our clients, if they're doing their own super, they do it before the 28th or the cutoff period. It could be the 21st, 20th. I don't know. It depends on which clearinghouse you're using, because we need that kind of like time period for funds to clear from your business bank account through the clearinghouse to employee super funds. You actually can pay superannuation more frequently. So you don't have to wait till quarter end. You can pay weekly, fortnightly, monthly, and some clients do that. They want to just keep on top of it. So that's like not a hard and set rule. That is just the minimum every quarter. Start good bookkeeping habits where if you're not paying more regularly and you want to pay every quarter, just set aside funds each month from your pay run. And superannuation is one of those things where even if your company closes down, folds, you potentially as a director, it will follow you. So I'm just going to make that small little point. And that's it. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below, DM us, shoot us an email, we'll help where we can. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.